Here are the top stories on the hour. Boat capsized in River Niger, 103 people killed. Missile strike on Odesa, 3 killed, 13 injured. Fresh violence in Manipur, 9 killed. Welcome to the World News right here on VOP TV. I'm Esther Wachuku. A boat returning from a wedding capsized in northern Nigeria, killing at least 103 children, including 3 people. Police spokesman Okasomi Ajayi disclosed on Wednesday that residents and police were still searching for dozens of people who were on the overcrowded boat that capsized early on Monday on the Niger River in the Pategi district of Kwara State, which is 160 kilometers from Ilorin. He also disclosed that 100 people have so far been rescued. According to Abdul Gana Lukbada, a local chief, most of those who drowned were relatives from several villages who attended the wedding together and partied late into the night. Lukbada stated that the boat was overloaded and close to 300 persons were in it, and while they were coming, the boat hit a big log inside the water and split into 2. As of Tuesday afternoon, officials and locals were still searching for more bodies in the river, which is one of Nigeria's largest. Police spokesman Ajayi disclosed that the rescue operation would continue through the night until Wednesday. Locals stated that it was the deadliest boat accident they have witnessed in many years. Boat accidents are common in many remote communities across Nigeria, where locally made vessels are commonly used for transport. Most accidents are attributed to overloading and the use of poorly maintained boats. At least 3 people have been killed and 13 more injured in a missile strike on Odesa, carried out by the Russian military on Tuesday night. According to Ukraine's operational command, 4 Russian caliber cruise missiles have been launched at Odesa from a ship in the Black Sea. Ukrainian Air Force reported that 3 of them had been shot down by air defense systems. An office building, an apartment complex, a school, a McDonald's location and stores in central Odesa have all been damaged by the strike. A fire broke out on 400 square meters of warehouse space at the Tavria B warehouse, where 3 people were killed. At the time, Russia's defense ministry had not made any comment on the missile strike on Odesa. At least 9 people have been killed in the latest clashes between members of rival ethnic groups in India's northeastern state of Manipur, as security forces pressed down with the hunt for illegal weapons on Wednesday. Violence between members of the Kuki ethnic group, who mostly live in the hills, and Metis, the dominant community in the lowlands, erupted on May 3, sparked by resentment over economic benefits and quotas in government jobs and education reserved for hill people. Federal security force reinforcements have been sent to the state and they have been searching for illegal weapons. Civil society organizations from the Meitei and Kuki communities have refused to join a peace committee set up by the federal government in brokering peace. On May 3rd, members of the hill tribes, including Kuki, launched a protest against a possible extension of their benefits to the dominant Meiteis. Meiteis account for half of Manipur's population, and extending limited affirmative action quotas to them would mean they would get a share in education and government jobs reserved for Kukis and others. Manipur shares a nearly 400-kilometer border with Myanmar, and a coup there in 2021 pushed thousands of refugees into the Indian state. Kukis share ethnic lineage with Myanmar's Chin community, and Meiteis feared they would be outnumbered by the arrival of the refugees. Elsewhere, 2 Japanese soldiers have been killed and another injured after being shot by a recruit at the training range on Wednesday in the central prefecture of Gifu. Japan's Ground Self-Defense Force stated in an initial report that the shooting took place at around 9 a.m. at the Hino shooting range in Gifu. The GSDF stated that during a live-fire drill in new recruit training, 1 self-defense force candidate fired at 3 personnel. He also disclosed later that 2 of the victims were killed. According to Japanese public broadcaster, the 18-year-old shooter used an automatic rifle. Police also disclosed that he was arrested on the scene and later admitted to the shooting. According to the police, the 2 soldiers who died were aged 25 and 52, while the 3rd SDF member shot was 25. GSDF Chief of Staff General Morishita Yasunori disclosed at a news conference on Wednesday afternoon that a committee will be set up to investigate the shooting. Shootings in Japan are extremely rare, as the country has some of the most restrictive gun laws in the world. However, a handful of high-profile violent crimes have rattled the public since the assassination of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe last July. Now, Israeli airstrikes hit the Syrian capital early on Wednesday and wounded one soldier. According to Sana'a, the raids targeted the countryside southwest of Damascus, with Syrian air defenses downing a number of the missiles. A military source speaking to the agency stated that the Israeli army carried out an aerial act of aggression from the direction of the occupied Syrian Golan, targeting some sites southwest of Damascus. Israel has for years carried out attacks on what it has described as Iran-linked targets in Syria, where Tehran's influence has grown since it began supporting President Bashar al-Assad in a civil war that started in 2011. The strikes are part of an escalation of what has been a low-intensity conflict with the goal of slowing Iran's growing entrenchment in Syria. Fighters allied to Iran, including Hezbollah, hold sway in vast areas in eastern, southern, and northwestern Syria and in several suburbs around the capital. Attacks also targeting Syria's airports and paralyzing aviation have become more frequent in recent months. At the start of this year, suspected Israeli strikes attacked Damascus International Airport, putting it temporarily out of service and killing 2 Syrian soldiers. In February, at least 5 people were killed when suspected Israeli airstrikes hit residential neighborhoods and other locations in Damascus. In February, the Aleppo International Airport was also attacked twice, putting it out of service. At least 32 people have died off the coast of southern Greece after a fishing boat carrying dozens of migrants capsized and sank on Wednesday. A large search and rescue operation was launched in the area. Authorities said 104 people have been rescued so far following the nighttime incident, some 46 miles southwest of Greece's southern Peloponnese region. Now, 4 of the survivors were hospitalized with symptoms of hypothermia. The Greek Coast Guard stated that it was unclear how many passengers might remain missing at sea after the 32 bodies were recovered. 6 Coast Guard vessels, a Navy frigate, a military transport plane, an Air Force helicopter, several private vessels, and a drone from the European Union Border Protection Agency, Frontex as well, were taking part in the ongoing search. The Italy-bound boat is believed to have sailed from the Tobruk area in eastern Libya. The Italian Coast Guard first alerted Greek authorities and Frontex about the approaching vessel on Tuesday. Smugglers are increasingly taking larger boats into international waters off the Greek mainland to try to avoid local Coast Guard patrols. Meanwhile, civilians who have escaped the conflict in West Darfur state is close to the state capital, El Janina, is currently facing a multifaceted humanitarian and security crisis. They further reported the ongoing targeted and forced displacement of civilians by Arab militias allied with the Rapid Support Forces, warning that the situation in El Janina has grown increasingly complex. Since April 15, El Janina has been ravaged by violent conflict that initially erupted between the army and the Rapid Support Forces, but has since escalated into clashes between Masalit and Arab tribes. This intertribal fight has resulted in numerous civilian deaths and extensive infrastructure destruction. On May 17, communication and internet services were severed in the region, effectively isolating it amidst the ongoing tribal conflicts. This isolation has prompted thousands of people to flee to Chad for safety. Now, thousands of people living in coastal towns and small islands in Pakistan left their homes for safer places ahead of the approaching cyclone Biparjoy that is expected to make landfall in the country on Thursday. Strong winds, showers and high tides heralded the arrival of cyclone Biparjoy. Classified as a very severe cyclonic storm, Biberjoy is expected to make landfall with winds of approximately 140 kilometers to 150 kilometers per hour and gusts up to 170 kilometers per hour. Now, according to the latest forecast, the cyclone is expected to maintain a northward trajectory, and then it was likely to recurve eastward and make its landfall between Kheti Bandar in Thatta district and India's Gujarat coastline. Finally, French President Emmanuel Macron will discuss the war in Ukraine and other matters when he meets Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman on Friday. The planned talks between Macron and the Saudi Crown Prince comes just a month after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky attended a summit of the Arab League in Saudi Arabia to canvass support, during a meeting at which bin Salman expressed his readiness to mediate in the war between Moscow and Kiev. The Saudi state news agency earlier reported that bin Salman had led four fronts. The Crown Prince's agenda also includes presiding over the Saudi delegation during the International Summit for a New Global Financing Pact to be held on June 22 to 23 and taking part in the kingdom's official reception of Riyadh's candidacy to host Expo 2030 on June 19. And that's a wrap on the world news right here on VOP TV. My name is Esther Nwachukwu. To subscribe to our YouTube channel at VOP TV Live, that is at Voice of the People TV, as well as across the social media handles. Do stay tuned for the VOP Business Show.